It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. Sometimes it's nobody. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. And sometimes no folks at all. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar today, we're at Wayfair on Freret Street, where they serve handcrafted food and spirits, where they have a whole new menu and a radically new happy hour for 3 hours every day here between 3 and 6. You can drink for half price. All these amazing cocktails are half price till 6 o'clock. You can get completely plastered, then have dinner. The appetizers are half price as well. Wayfair is on Freret Street in Uptown New Orleans. So listen, this is what's going on around here. Oh, listen, I've got to tell you about this, you guys. Kristen Bradford is here. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hi, I'm doing good.
You look awesome. I haven't seen you in about, how many years has it been since you're on Happy Hour?
At least.
Move in so we can,
Couple of
everyone
years.
else can hear you
Can you
too.
hear me now?
Yes,
Can
I
you
can
hear me
you.
now? Great.
Yes. And since I saw you last, you've had like a whole makeover.
Yes, I changed my look a lot.
Yeah, what was your look last time?
I think my hair was just longer. Might have been purple. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been. And what's your look now?
It's short. Got a buzz side. Going for some 90s vibes.
90s. You're
Yeah.
going for a 90s look. Mm-hmm. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Doesn't she, Andrew?
I feel good.
Yeah, Andrew Duhon
He has
is
to
here.
say yes.
And here's the fabulous Leon Morris. Hey, Leon.
Hey, nice to be here.
Come on in. Now,
Can you hear me okay?
not yet.
Now, how's that?
Yeah, how do I sound in your headphones? Loud
I
enough?
can hear you nice and clear.
Okay. Leon, this is Chris Bradford.
Hi.
Hey, Chris, nice
And
to
this
meet
is
you.
Andrew
you.
Duhon.
Hey, man.
Andrew.
And I'm
Meet you.
Grant Morris.
Hey,
So
Grant.
Leon just got off the plane from Australia.
Oh, nice.
How long have you
Well, a few days ago, I got it, landed here before Jazz Fest. So,
Right. So you've been here a few days.
nearly a week now.
Nearly a week now. So we're going to all do this accent by the time
Yeah.
the show's
All
over.
right.
Thick,
Right,
man,
mate?
it's thick.
All right, mate. Here we are.
All right.
Yeah.
So welcome to New Orleans. Leon, this is how many times you've been here? About 100?
22 years I've been coming, but I don't know how many in that period. So
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Maybe
Enough.
44, maybe. If you'd been every
Yeah.
twice a year, that'd be 44
Who
times.
was your favorite Jazz Fest act so far?
This year,
Yep.
Terence Blanchard was just playing off the planet this year.
Nice.
Couldn't believe how good he was.
Really?
It just feels like he's gone to a different level. So
What were you smoking?
I wasn't smoking.
Nothing.
I was
So
just,
how do you
I was just
High on
enjoying
life.
them. I've just been watching Terence for a long time, and just there was
He's got
something
better?
about the gig. Yeah, there's just something. He's just got to a different level.
So who do you get weed from when you come here from Australia?
I don't.
You don't get any weed at all. You've been coming to Jazz Fest for 22 years.
I can just smell it.
You can get contact high.
You've been coming here for 22 years and you don't have anyone to buy pot from here yet?
If I needed it, people would give it to me. It's
Yeah.
a friendly place.
It is.
True.
Where do you stay while you're here?
I stay in Lakeview. I've been staying with the same family the whole time. I sort
Right.
of-
Well, they must like you.
Yeah, I feel like it's my my Cajun family here. So
All right. Are they Cajun?
They are, yeah.
So
What's
Andrew's
last name?
Cajun family.
Schwest. That's a pretty well-known name.
Yeah, it is. Those people are they the people that own the oil field company and the
No,
racetrack and everything else?
they're relatives to they're
They
relatives
are.
to those people.
Do they have
so-
tons of cash? And
No, but they've got tons of good hospitality and good humour.
Look at the bartender's back over here. Can you see this? This woman is wearing this is a great day over here. A totally backless outfit. And
Feeling
Graham
horny about
DePonte,
it.
our fabulous producer, is here as well.
Hey,
Graham.
I'm on.
Oh, there you are. You're on.
Can you hear
it's
me?
good to
Yep.
see
Am I
you.
good?
Yeah, we don't often have. Whoa, yeah, very good. We don't often have Graham on the show, but our other guest who is going to be on the show today is a New Zealander,
Okay.
and he couldn't get here. Is it? Okay, so we've got that under control. So can you believe it? We were going to have two Kiwis. I'm from New Zealand, and we're going to have him and me and.
It
you
sounds
from
like some
Australia.
kind of a joke. Two Kiwis
I
and
know.
an Australian walk into a bar in New Orleans.
Exactly. So he might
What
show
happens
up,
next?
but he's flooded out at his house.
He's
apparently.
flooded out. Real good thing because Grant was fussing at me for 2 Kiwis and an Aussie. So
I said
Yeah.
to Graham,
We need
why
it.
did she book 2 Kiwis and an Aussie on the same show? Isn't that crazy? But everything works
everything
out.
works out.
Does.
For a
For a
reason.
reason.
But yeah,
For a
they're
reason.
crazy roads out there at the moment, man. It took me
so
a
you-
long time to get here today.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this on some other day or some other planet, it's been raining like insanely here in New Orleans today. So all of us were flooded out. I want to tell you about Uber, by the way. If you're listening to this, in case you don't listen to the rest of the show,
Yep.
check this out. if you haven't downloaded the Uber app yet and you want a free ride somewhere today or anytime you're listening to this, download the Uber app and in the coupon thing, write Happy Hour NOLA, and you get a free ride wherever you are, up to $20, which is a long way in New Orleans. You can go across New Orleans all the way.
That is the coolest thing. I had
Isn't that
no
great?
idea. Yes,
Yeah.
that is
Realize that.
awesome.
Uber's hooking us up. So wherever you are, if you haven't downloaded the Uber app yet and you want a free ride from wherever you are,
I downloaded it today.
well,
Well,
put
you're in
Happy
luck,
Hour
baby.
NOLA in the coupon code, Grant.
But I already went. I already set it up. No coupon code.
Delete it. I don't know if that's
Sorry.
okay. Can you
Well,
do
if
that?
you haven't requested a ride yet, I bet you could.
Good point.
Use it.
Yeah.
And did you, as long as you change the email address that it's associated with.
I think it comes straight through. Yeah.
No, but if you associate with another email address, so suppose it was
Just
like your regular
make one
email,
up. Got it.
don't make one up, because you need
Just get another one.
Just use your INO broadcasting
Ah,
one, and then it forwards to your.
That works.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
do it, and then you get your free Uber ride.
I'm psyched.
Totally.
I'm
same,
doing it.
Same with you, Leon. Do you have Uber yet?
I
have it on
don't
the
need
street.
it. I've got a rental here. We've got it in Australia, sure.
Yeah, but you got to rental. But this one time you could leave it at home.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
get a
I just
free
think
one.
we'll just keep getting charged up and
Yeah, get the
take,
free,
take it wherever
get
we
a
go.
free one back from.
Yeah.
Who do you come here with? Just by yourself or what?
By myself, but I meet up with a whole lot of friends from here and from New York and from London, and
Right.
so normal thing. The same crowd's been coming for 20 plus years.
It's the same people come every time.
It
Anyone?
is indeed.
Anyone died or anything in
Yeah,
Toronto?
it's sad that you mentioned one of my best buddies died a couple of years ago,
Oh, what
and
from?
he'd been coming. He had cancer, but he'd been
that'll do it.
he'd been coming here for 30 odd years. He was a very famous photographer, David Redfern, the doyen of English jazz photography, died a couple of years ago. Very well known in the town.
Good
Did
for business for you, though, right?
No,
One of the competitors is dead.
no, it
You
doesn't
could
quite
start
work like
calling
that.
yourself David Redfern. Who would know, right?
Take over
Well,
that identity.
People know I
wouldn't
work. People know we're buddies and work together. But he did the Louis Armstrong stamp. The stamp collection. Did the
Oh,
Louis
really? Okay.
Armstrong Thelonious Monk stamp. He's
Right.
he photographed a lot of the icons. So yeah, his spirit's around like a lot of other people. It's a lot of people passed here, but
Right.
one of the great things here is how people joyously celebrate people's lives. So
That's what we do. We celebrate.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just did that Prince second line.
that was
Did you-
amazing.
did you go
wasn't
to
it?
that?
It was incredible. It was amazing. Yeah.
There has been a David Bowie one now and a Prince one in
Mm-hmm.
the last few months.
Right. We lost a couple of legends recently,
so, Chris,
right?
are you playing anywhere these days? Because
I'm actually taking a break. I hemorrhaged a vocal cord a couple of months ago. So
we're looking for a new album title for Andrew's new album. That's it.
yeah.
I hemorrhaged a vocal cord.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
That
that's
sounds
a
awful.
great
What-
thing
how did-
for a singer,
How did
right?
you do that? What does it mean?
It's just an injury, man. Anybody can do it, even if you aren't a singer, but I am a singer, so it's worse for me. But yeah, I kind of woke up and was having some issues even speaking, and went to a doctor here, this guy, Dr. Spector, who works with a lot of the singers here. He's fantastic, and just said I needed to shut up. So I did. I was silent for a month.
What?
No words. I carried around
Didn't
a dry
speak.
erase board. Yeah, I was quiet, man. I wasn't trying to risk it. So
For a month.
yes, a month of silence.
What was that like? Actually?
Amazing.
Was it fantastic?
It was
great,
so
or-
good. It was a
Right.
great way to just be reminded that I needed to slow down and I needed to take care of myself, and forced me to be really good to myself. So
What happened when you go somewhere like to buy groceries or just get a cup of coffee or something?
I had friends that would come with me if I needed, but you can kind of get around. You figure it out.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
mean,
said, I
there's-
literally had a dry erase board. So
Because there's mutes, who
Mm-hmm.
spend their lives this way, and not everybody knows sign language, so these
Right.
things, it's not alien to humanity.
yeah, you kind of get hip to the second language of life. There's we speak in other ways other than just with words. So
What's it like then when you go to the supermarket and everybody wants to talk to you at the even the checkout person says thank you or good
Yeah,
morning.
what's your mannerism to show people you
Yeah.
can't talk?
I just would be like, kind of like hand under the chin, like, nope, can't do it.
Wow.
Or just, I would mouth things and people
Yeah,
can
yeah.
understand that,
Yeah.
and then they think that you just are slow, or that made people feel like they also couldn't speak. So they would try to no, you can still talk. I just can't speak. Your voice works, but it was a social
must-
experiment,
Very interesting.
I hid for the first 3 weeks, and the last week I started going out a little bit more, but I've been talking like 2.5 weeks now. So
So what was the
feeling
first
good.
thing you said when you started
I
talking?
can speak.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So does it hurt?
It doesn't. Yeah, like my voice just gets tired. I'm like starting from the very basics though. I'm like literally like singing one note, trying to just make sure everything's right, you know. So I'm in voice therapy for my speaking voice and my singing voice.
Wow.
Holy shit.
It's intense, but it's necessary, you know.
Wow. Well, how did you actually do that? Do you know how you did it?
It can happen for several reasons, you know, from singing too much, speaking too loudly. I think I had a combination of things. I think physically, I have acid reflux. I have some things that kind of work against my instrument already. But I feel like it was, you know, a lot of things, not just one thing. Body, mind, and soul kind of situation. So I've been treating all of the above.
Were you like stressed out or something? Were you, like, in a bad
I wasn't
place?
taking really good care of myself. You know, for Mardi Gras, I worked like 12 plus hours for Mardi Gras, 12 plus hours. I was singing on top of that. Typical musician stuff where you're just like not sleeping and trying, like what people are doing right now during Jazz Fest, just like running crazy. And in this city, it's really easy to do that, you know?
Right.
So I just had one day where I like had 3 seizures in one day and like
Seizures.
yeah, that's a whole nother
man.
situation I deal with. But yeah, so
You've had that for a long time too?
I was sick for like 2 years unexplainably with seizures, and I had to quit. I was in school at the time, had 2 bands, doing all this stuff, and just had
What
to
was
stop.
that diagnosed as? Epilepsy or something else?
I was misdiagnosed as epileptic, and then they put me on this medicine. I couldn't read. You know, just like the side effects were so severe. And
What's that called?
I don't even remember what it's called now, but it's also something
Can you
that
get a
like,
hold of that? 'Cause that
yeah,
sounds
I mean, it
pretty
was kind of interesting, you know, but it's
I
not
can't
necessarily
read.
what
I've
you
had
want.
that, but
yeah,
I wasn't prescribed
but you
by
weren't
anybody.
prescribed anything that stopped it.
Wowee. So what did they? So they misdiagnosed you as epileptic.
Mm-hmm.
What was the correct diagnosis?
Well, at the end of 2 years, like I went to the Mayo Clinic, and they were like, "We don't know enough about mind and body connection. Hopefully, it goes away." And then they
Hey,
sent me
good
to,
one.
yeah, they sent me to a
Hope
cognitive
you have
therapist here.
Cognitive therapist. What does that mean?
And just, you know, it's behavioral therapist to see if it was something, you know, psychological going on, whatever, even though I'd already had all these evaluations. And my first visit with her, she said, "I think you need to see a neurologist." And I was like, "I'm done. The end. Like, I'm done with you guys. Like, I've done 2 years of doctors. Nobody seems to know what's going on. I'm just gonna."
But a neurologist is a person who physically looks at the human brain, right?
Oh yeah.
So that would have been the first thing to do.
Well, that's why I was.
That's what I think.
I had seen a neurologist, and that's why I was misdiagnosed as epileptic. So you see, it was just like this circle of like nobody having
Right.
answers and me still having issues. So,
So were you hoping it was psychological?
no, I just wanted an answer, man. I mean,
And what would be the psychological cause of?
if you've
how would
had
you
like
give yourself
severe
s-
trauma, like maybe you've been sexually abused or like beaten as a child, or you've just had something traumatic, you
did-
know, so
did-
your body will manifest these
Did that happen to you?
psychosomatic issues. No, I mean, I haven't
So
had.
it wasn't that.
But you know, I like where I'm at now in the process of everything. I do firmly believe that, you know, we emotionally house things that we're not aware of. You know, and I think as a child, for me, I always had everything together, and I was always kind of like I'm the oldest, kind of taking care of everyone, and you know, just in general, seem to stuff a lot of the things that I'm feeling, the things that I need to deal with that I don't necessarily deal with. And I just think the mind and body and the spirit are connected, and we as a society, especially in the States, we don't address those things as a whole. There are people that do, but you kind of got to seek it out. So I've been seeing a nutritionist and like just like a more holistic approach to my overall health, you know.
So have the seizures stopped?
Well, like I said, I got really sick, you know, for Mardi Gras because I'd pushed myself, you know, I'd
Right.
exerted myself beyond what my body could handle. So I feel like I'm learning ways to kind of manage it now.
What was better, having seizures or having a hemorrhaged vocal cord?
I would
If you had to
take the
choose.
seizures because
Seizures
I
are
know
good.
what that is. Like I know it'll pass, you know, and it
Right.
doesn't really hurt. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna like shake and then like, you know, I'll be okay. And with my voice, I'm like, I
Right.
was just terrified
Yeah.
that I wouldn't be able
Right.
to
It's the same.
or even speak, you know, because
Wow.
you can do that. So just wanted to get right.
Well, hopefully you're at the end of all of it now. There won't be any more physical ailments.
I hope that
after
this
you
is
get-
just, I think a transition for me. I feel like I'm in a process right now, and it's slow, but it's like building blocks, and that's life, right? Like everything is just one step at a time. And it's easy to get away from that, but I'm trying to be really patient with where I'm at, and not.
What do you think the lesson is here?
The lesson, I think, for me is to take care of me before anybody else, and to kind of silence this idea, this illusion that if I'm not meeting this mark, whatever it is, then I'm failing. Like just being here, just the fact that I'm physically here, that I'm present in this body, it's a blessing, and it's not on accident. It's on purpose. And like just the fact that we like lost Prince, and we've lost all these amazing people that like totally have transformed humans' lives, as long
By
as I'm
being
here.
themselves, yeah.
By being them. And if you veer away from you, I think it makes you physically ill. I think it can just make everything shut down. I think it can cause, I'm kind of weird, but like cancer, all these different things, it just gets lodged in your body, and it's hard to break away from it. So for me, the lesson is just to take care of me.
All right. What do you think, Leon?
Well, it's I think staying true to yourself is a key to it, and I think the reference to people like Toos and Prince and some of these great legends who've passed, and the spirit and the feeling of them stays with you. So it sounds like an extraordinary trauma you've gone through, but amazing to sort of be able to get your head straight and work out where you're going. And I think you can draw on some of those great people. People I remember. I've seen some great artists, and over the years, and they stay with you. Miles Davis and Nina Simone, and people like that are just deeply embedded in my psyche, but in the world psyche. And it's good to hear you thinking that through and coming through what sounds like an awful trauma.
And it's such a good lesson. I love what you just said about, just taking care and like not letting all that stuff get inside you and make you something that you're not. I just quit the worst job, and Carrie, if you're listening, I'm talking about you.
Yes, Carrie.
It was the worst job. My boyfriend, and it was a great job. I loved the work. I loved the work. I loved the people I worked with. But the guy that I worked for was just insane and made me insane. My boyfriend is from LA. He's in town for Jazz Fest, and he said, I have never seen you so relaxed. He's like, I was not even really, I was thinking maybe this relationship was just a little too stressful for me. And he's like, no, it's perfect, and you're so much better. So,
But tell these guys what your job was. Wait till you hear what it was.
Well,
Does it stress anybody out?
But it's good work. So I was a capital defense attorney, and I represented people at trial who were accused of murders which made them eligible for the death penalty, and I had opened this project in 2002 with the same guy that I went back to work for, and we had a great time for 5 years, and then I quit and did something else, and then I wanted to go back, and he was like, fine. The minute I walked into the office, I was like, this is a bad vibe. This place has changed, and it really has.
So this is people in this office, right? They're representing people on death row. You were a trial attorney representing people on death row.
Right.
So what kind of management style would this guy, Kerry, your boss, have that was so terrible? I mean, you think if that was the job you were doing, it would be a fairly noble cause, to say the least.
He's a great attorney, and he's smart, but he just screams at people. Like, if you can't read his mind, he goes insane.
He'll literally scream.
Can
you do an
turns
imitation
red.
of what?
No, because I'm a
I'd
normal
love to hear.
person. He goes insane. He'll throw stuff. He'll get red in the face, and I was walking
He'll
on
throw stuff
eggshells.
at you?
No, at the wall.
Just to-
but
That's
What kind of a-
terrifying.
it's terrible.
What
And I
kind
was-
of a fuck up would you have had to have done?
You can't read his mind. You write something, and he's like, that's not what I wanted. And I'm like, but that's what you said you wanted. And he's like, well, I don't want it that way now. And it was,
Wow.
and I would walk on eggshells every day. And I'm so happy. And, I quit without a job. I quit with no job.
I like that.
Yeah, it's so much better.
You could go work with Leon. He doesn't do anything. Just wanders around taking photos.
None of us do. We
Right,
got a couple
Good
exactly.
point.
We don't have a job.
Leon, what are you doing here? Are you taking photos of
Yeah, I am.
people?
Yeah, and I've just come from Firefest. Just was shooting there. So when I'm here, I
Shooting,
just
you said, right?
shooting. Yeah,
Shoot.
that's yeah.
Bang,
it's,
bang.
yeah.
Where was that?
Yeah, I realise it's not necessarily the
Firefest.
best word, and photographers can be pretty aggressive in the way they behave. But
Where
I
was
try not to.
Firefest?
Firefest.
It's at Mardi Gras
Yeah,
World,
Mardi Gras
right?
World. Yeah,
Ah.
and you know,
What is that? I don't even know about that either. You never heard of that, Andrew, either?
I've heard of it, but I wasn't
Well,
sure where it
it's
was.
a benefit-
FIYA?
yeah, it's a
Fire.
it's a benefit for the New Orleans Musicians Clinic.
Ah,
So
okay.
you know, I like to be able to. You know, I'm helping
Crawfish
support,
Boil, yeah?
trying to support them a little bit. So. Yeah, crawfish ball and 3 stages, but you know there was only one stage going this afternoon because of there was only one
right,
covered
yeah.
stage. But
Yeah.
Because of the
um,
flooding.
yeah, they've got some
Man.
great acts there. But
What a
yeah, I
shame.
should, you know, I shoot. Yeah, there I go again using the you know.
No, you can
taking-
say the word shoot with
Yeah,
it. We know.
and taking photos at Jazz Fest day and night, out to clubs,
Right.
whatever happens.
So what's the deal at Jazz Fest? Do you have a pass, like a media,
yeah?
so you can get up on
yeah,
stage?
Yeah, so
So you must see some
well,
pretty good stuff.
well,
you can get
it's
around.
well the best thing about a photo pass is your access to the stage because
Yeah.
you can move. You know what it's like if you're at Jazz Fest.
Well,
There's so many
that's what I'm
great
getting
music
at,
going
yeah.
on. You can move straight in front of the stage, so that's
Well,
great.
you've been coming here long enough to know that everyone used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Now it's so crowded, you can't possibly see a whole lot of music because everything's so slowed down. But if you've
Yeah.
got a pass, you can still zip around.
That's
and-
right, and when
Oh,
I bring
great.
friends or I help friends work their way through the Jazz Fest, it's a completely different experience because you've just got to map out your day.
Yeah. Well, how did
So-
we get to be your friend and get hold of one of these
Yeah.
media passes? You
A
had
few more of these
few more of
Adidas
these,
would be a good start.
Barking.
So how many passes do you get? Just one for
No,
yourself?
you just get the one. Yeah.
Ah, they're really tight
Yeah,
like
they
that
are.
over there now.
They're-
Jazz Fest. They used to be so
They're gold
generous.
dust. The photo passes are gold dust because
Yeah.
you know we have our own area in front of the stage. and
Yeah.
it makes a huge difference.
Do you know the other photographers here?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Is it
A lot of us have been
cooperative?
coming. It's mixed. There's a handful of us who are very good friends, but not all photographers are nice people. To be honest with you.
Nice. She's our photographer.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of
We can
photographers
introduce
are
you to
quite
her.
well. The photo pit is a really strange place because you have mainly guys in there who are really aggressive. They just want
Right.
to get the shot, and they're not really interested in anything else. And then you have everybody else who's into the music, into the culture, and we're just trying to enjoy ourselves, capture the moment, do it a little bit differently. And so there is a bit of tension sometimes in the picture desk between those two kind of camps of people. It's an
So
interesting
these
world.
guys who are there trying to get the shot, I can understand how that would be if you were covering, like, I don't know, the presidential election or a movie star or something. But what are you trying to get at Jazz Fest?
Well, it's
The shot of
it's
Andrew Duhon, like
Yeah.
the shot?
well, it's a particular
No,
cliche.
you're trying to get Eddie Vedder so you
Yeah.
can get in a Rolling Stone.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're trying to get the one picture which will
So there
be
is
on
some
the cover.
money. Okay.
There's some money there, but you can do it without actually being unsympathetic
asshole.
with the music. Yeah, like this. If you enjoy the music, you're going to take a better photograph. But these
Is that
guys
right?
are yeah,
That's
I
a
think
good
so.
So
sentence.
that's your creative perspective.
Yeah,
And if you enjoy the music, you take a better photograph.
yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Why is that?
Because you feel, because you're not taking a photograph for 10 seconds. You're taking a photograph because you love the music and you want it to endure and last for generations to come. So you think about it differently, and if you feel the music, you kind of know when to take the photograph, when to move, where to shoot. It's a different vibe.
Do you get a little tired of the same backdrop of the Jazz Fest stages? Just you got the rigging, you got that same height that you have to shoot that perspective unless you got one of those poles, and then all you got is like people in sunglasses because it's sunny out, singing in microphones which are just obstructions to the face. Does it ever get old to just shoot that sort of vibe?
It sometimes gets frustrating, and we often talk to the producers about the backdrops
Yeah.
because it changes the nature of the image. And the other thing that this is a message to all performers out there:
Right.
do not wear white.
Right.
Do not wear white. It's really hard for photographers to get the exposure right. Wear some really bright, solid colours. And the point of that is that a photograph is more likely to get published if it looks good and it pops.
Right.
So if you're wearing the right... So look at what Walter Wolfman Washington wears. Look
Yeah,
at what
right.
Irma Thomas wears. Look at what Fats Domino wears. You get good photos and they get used more often. So if you want to be in the media and in the press, and that's part of the business,
Totally.
think about it. But particularly with the African American artists and white clothes, it's really hard. It just because what you're doing when you're taking photographs is you're recording light, and light off a white suit and light off a black face are very different things.
Oh, wow.
Just doesn't quite work.
Did you see Flow Tribe last weekend?
I did not,
They
no.
were dressed perfect. They popped. They were awesome. They're friends of the show. They've been on the show.
You've had
Yeah.
them on here.
Yeah,
those
they were
are-
great.
Those are the homies. Was
Yeah.
Amanda singing with them?
She was. She
Yeah.
looked great.
Okay, so
Talk
who have
about
you
colours.
seen at Jazz Fest this time who you totally loved, other than Terence Blanchard? Blanchard.
Jack, I thought Jack DeJohnette was great. I've always loved Jack. He's a great drummer. Yeah, one of the great jazz drummers. And I think the person who really I couldn't actually see her gig because there was something on it. It might have been DeJohnette. No, it was Herbie Hancock was on at the same time as Rhiannon Giddens. But I went to her interview. On the Alison Minor, which I actually think if people don't know, the Alison Minor stage is just a gem. I always go to that stage if there's an artist I like. And Rhiannon was just such a remarkable woman.
That's
the
cool.
story she
Yeah,
goes.
that's
So
a great stage, and it has air conditioning in there, which is a
always a
double
plus.
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
clean toilets up the top.
That's true. So
matters.
you have a new book out, I see, according to my notes here, Leon.
Yes.
It's called, how would you pronounce that in Australia?
Homage in Australia,
Homage.
or homage here.
I knew that was going to be different.
It's a bit hard for you
Homage.
to look at it here. But
Homage. And then we can see it. Well,
No,
is it
take a
huge?
look.
It's a big.
Oh, it's a coffee table
book,
size
and
book.
It's got 350 colour and black and white plates that
350 photos. It's called Homage New Orleans.
and it goes through a whole lot of genres and talks about my experience in.
Oh, look at the
New
size of that
Orleans.
type. You must have good
Awesome.
eyesight. I couldn't read that.
Yeah, it's this. So it's a mix of words about my personal story and trying to find the roots of rock and pop and how I pay.
I'm not even kidding. Look at the
homage
size
to
of that.
New
What,
Orleans.
what type? What size type is that?
It's-
Did
I
you have
don't-
anything
I'm
to do
not
with the
a-
production
I'm
of
not,
this?
I like to say, man.
Dude, I'm not the
Dude,
designer.
Look at the size of it. It's like an ant.
I think it might be saying that the photographs are more important. than the
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, but really, you want people to read the text, don't you? Who wrote the text? Did you
Yeah,
write?
I did. Yeah,
You wrote the text as
Yeah,
well?
yeah. So, and I guess that's a little bit unusual about me is that I'm both a photographer and a writer. It's pretty hard to do both together. But
Yeah, it sure
I
is.
somehow seem to have managed it.
That's
yeah.
interesting because Graham is a great writer and the shittiest photographer you've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, that is true.
And yet she loves music and she can't take a photo of anything. What is the secret to being a good photographer? Is there one or you just have to be born good?
Give us
Well,
some tips.
Worked
Yeah,
my
Don't use your iPhone.
No, I actually, my friend who I talked about who'd passed away,
David
David
Redfern.
Redfern, he used to say that great photographers are born, not made, and you can learn how to take photographs, but it's
Too
there's
bad
something.
Graham
It's a
Give it up.
gift, you think.
I mean, you were surprised when I said you need to enjoy the music to
Yeah.
to take good photographs, but it is about actually, there is a cerebral aspect to taking photographs as well.
Right.
You've got to connect with what you're doing.
Well, there's
you-
a science as well. I mean,
There
there's,
is,
there's
there
little
is.
dials and
Yeah,
things to move
and-
around on the camera.
And so I came from a generation of photographers that were craft photographers because we worked analog. We worked with film and
You had to develop
processing and all that
film.
kind of stuff.
Right.
It's much less technical these days, but you need to get the technique right. You need to get the composition right, but you've just got to have an eye and a feel. And I don't think you can teach that. You can, if you, it's a little bit like in music. There's a
Right.
certain sensitivity and a feel for it that
Right.
you can't really teach.
Yeah.
But everyone's a photographer now. Literally everyone.
Well, that's what I was saying with the iPhone. It's
Yeah.
like now everybody,
We're all photographers.
And everybody's a writer too now.
But especially Instagram. Everyone
Yep.
puts their photos. Do you have an Instagram account, Leon?
No, I don't.
Why
I'm
is
still,
that?
I'm still old school.
Right.
I'm not. I'm still harking back to the analog days. But it is really interesting that 20 years ago, nobody wanted to talk to you about photography or technique or how you did it.
Right.
Now
Now,
everybody wants to know
that's
what is it that
interesting.
makes you different or makes you able. Because everybody thinks they can take photographs, and they can. But the difference is that a professional photographer needs to every time take a good photograph.
Yeah.
An amateur photographer can take
Right.
a better photograph than me, but they don't have to take a good photograph every time.
You could help us out right now and do a service for the whole world or anyone listening to this. If you just tell everybody, how do you take a good photo of a plate of food? Well, that is the most disgusting thing about Instagram, especially.
There's no way to take a
the
photo.
fucking photos of food.
There's not one in the book.
What is it with people and food?
like it.
Why do
It's
people
nourishing.
want to take photos of a half-eaten hamburger.
You want
Why?
someone to be jealous.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, why not? Like, look how delicious. It's halfway eaten. I'm not going to share it with you, but I am going to post this picture.
You
so
think
can
that's
just
what it is? People are
desire
trying to
my hamburger.
make people jealous of you, of them.
I
by-
mean, you know, some of
That's
it
one.
maybe.
That's one theory. At least I can't understand it at all. That at least is an explanation. Have you ever posted a photo of food?
Yes, guilty.
What was it of?
Guilty. Well, I was living in Beijing last year at this time, so I've definitely taken pictures of some of my meals, you know.
Well, you were
there.
singing over there, right? You had a gig at what is it, a hotel? Or something?
Yeah, I was
In a
singing
club?
at a hotel, and there was a club in the hotel. So
How great was that? Now, how did you swing that one?
my friend Sasha Mazakowski
Yeah.
did a similar gig a couple of years before I did. She went, and like the whole time she was out there was just kind of communicating with me like, this would be really great. You should do this. And she almost did another contract because you just kind of get contract deals and you can go back and forth. And it just didn't work out for her to go back. And then I kind of was in emails with these people and just didn't really think it would happen. And then one day, the guitarist, who was also the band leader, was like, okay, seriously, come to Beijing. And before I knew it, I was in Beijing like, what did I get myself into? Where am I?
Were you by yourself?
Yeah, well, I met
Just
my bandmates on the plane, and then I lived with them for 6 months. So
And who was the band? Who put it together?
this guy, Mike Knoll, he's from Boston. Well, he was like based out of Boston. I think he's actually from San Francisco. But so he and this guy, Steve, and they were, you know, just the bass player and the guitarist. And we had a Chinese drummer who could not keep a beat to save his life. There was no such thing as a pocket. It just
Oh dear.
was really frustrating by the end of 6 months.
He couldn't get it after 6 months. I
Well,
guess you
I
either
think,
have it
you
or
know,
you don't.
It's what he was talking about. It's like an internal thing. Like, we're from New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans, and it's, you know, our drummers here are out of this world. But it's something that's innate. You know,
It's
we have all
programmed,
these
yeah.
church cats that just like can do it. You know, and
Why would they hire all these talented musicians but will not take care of the drummer? I guess.
because it's not. I don't want to say it's like not about the music, but it's not. You know, you're just like, you're.
God, you must have been exotic over there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
People come to
everyone's
look at you as
Chinese
much
and I
as-
wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, yeah, they just want you to, if you literally, like, you can go there and if you have a decent voice and you look a certain way, then you can get a gig and just make a life, which
Yeah.
is kind of wild. Very different than
So what was it like living there?
intense. Intense. I
What
mean,
did you-
it's highly polluted. I was sick all the time. I mean, you can't walk out of the door without being hit by this
Yeah.
taste of metal and industrial life.
Jesus
27
Christ.
million people.
Did you wear a mask?
All the time, yeah. Hmm.
Oh no,
You have
really?
to. I cried when I went to Europe after living in Beijing because I saw a sunset, and I hadn't seen like a sun, like a real proper like sunset in so long that I just wept.
Oh my God.
God.
You don't
I
don't
mean-
see the sun that often, or if you do, it's through a
Did
lot
you-
of smog.
Did you tell any of these doctors that you saw that this has happened, that you lived in China for 6 months? I mean, has that?
Yeah, I mean that might have affected my health since I've been home, but
yeah,
I hadn't
but did
really.
somebody mention it? Did you tell anyone that as part of your pathology there?
No, I haven't.
You
But
think
I mean,
that
it's-
might
it's
have
real.
something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, you would wake up like there. I wouldn't drink at all because you wake up like you feel hungover because of the
From all
smog.
the toxins that are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, God, that's got to do something to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
That
I
could be the
wouldn't
cause of
take a
your whole-
contract in Beijing again.
You
'cause
never go back.
It's just not worth my health, you know.
God, no way.
But it was also really beautiful. I mean, it was amazing to be on the other side of the planet. And
I'm intrigued.
See a different way of life.
How did the Chinese relate to your music? Were you just up there on the stage doing background music, or were they seriously into what
well,
you're doing?
there would be times, yeah, they get crunk. They get real wild. Like sometimes, you know, they be just. Everybody gets drunk really, really quick. Nobody can hold their liquor, so there's like a lot of yeah, and then
Is it men and
nothing.
women, or is it all men?
What that come to
Yeah,
the
that come to the show.
gigs? Yeah, men and women for sure,
okay.
a mixture of both. But we were there 5 nights a week, so it wasn't a consistent crowd. You know, just for certain holidays there'd be people there, but other than that, it's just like a bar and a hotel. You know, so sometimes we just be like singing to I'd be singing to myself. You know,
That was the
It
hotel that you
depended.
were living in?
I was living next to the hotel. I was in an apartment close by. So,
Hey, let's take a listen to something you've recorded.
okay.
Before we do, I just have to read these short messages,
Okay.
and then we can take a listen to it. We have something, right?
Yeah, hopefully it works. It's something that I recorded yesterday. Like I said, I'm in the process. So I have a record that I'm working on. But this, I just kind of wanted to show what the process is. It's something kind of rough. But
Okay. So first of all, let me tell you about the people who brought the show to us today. Especially thanks, first of all, to Uber. If you find yourself a few drinks in and you need a ride home, Uber is the smartphone app that connects you with a ride at the tap of a button. If you don't know about Uber, it's a safe, easy, and reliable request. Or you can get a car at any time that comes directly to you. You download the Uber app, and if you write the words Happy Hour NOLA in the promotions code, you get the first one is free, $20 ride, which is anywhere in New Orleans. You can go across New Orleans anywhere from one place to another for $20. So you go to either the App Store on iPhone or the Google Play Store on your Android and look for the Uber app, download it, and write Happy Hour NOLA in the promotions code and get a free $20 ride, courtesy of us and Uber. Thanks to the Basics Swim and Gym, we can get a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. Basics Swim and Gym is on... Sorry. Basics Swim and Gym is on Magazine Street, which is hopefully not flooded now, near Jefferson Avenue. And if you go downtown a little way on Magazine Street, about 2 blocks, you'll see May's Guitar and Sisters in Christ Record Store, where you'll find thousands of records and books and a huge array of vintage guitars, vacuum tube amplifiers, and effects pedals from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Whether you've never picked up a guitar in your life before or you've been playing forever, you'll find a gem at May's Guitar. And you can also see our friend James Hayes as well from the Lovey Doveys, who owns it. It's on Magazine Street as well, just 3 blocks on the downtown side of Jefferson Avenue. And thank you also, and this is the most vital information you'll get today, to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to the Hangover Destroyer website and write HD Destroyer. I know it's called HDDestroyer.com, and write Happy Hour in the coupon code on that one, and you'll get 30% off of your first Hangover Destroyer, and you can seize the dawn. So that's the coupon code for Hangover Destroyer is Happy Hour, and it's Happy Hour NOLA at Uber. So that's something to remember. Thank you to Andrew Duhon providing the background music. Let's have a real Andrew Duhon song after the Kristen Bradford song. What do you say?
Sounds good.
And then also we have to talk about Breakfast, which we haven't talked about. And also we have to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Frank Skurlock, who are our
Holy
guests
shit.
from last week,
my God.
who we haven't also talked about yet. But first of all, we're going to hear a song from Kristen Bradford.
but now the rain is beating on my eyes. So I throw my hands up 'cause I'm mostly made of water, but the rest of me is gold. I'm reclaiming my power. If you didn't know, well now you know. I'm mostly made of water, but the rest of me is gold. I'm reclaiming my power. If you didn't know, well now you know.
Okay, we're back.
Wow,
Nice.
song.
That's
Nice.
just literally just an idea, right?
You
So
just
it's
did
not
that
it's not
today.
mixed, it's not mastered, it's just all electronic. There's no real instruments involved.
But your voice sounds great.
Sounds good.
Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
But
Sounds great.
it's it's a process.
So we got to hear the very
the
first
very first
version
idea
of
cut,
it.
yeah,
That's
for
Hey,
sure.
cool. Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
Totally.
That's
So
really
fun.
nice. What do you call that?
It's called Water and Gold.
Water and gold. Mm-hmm. I like it. It's
Love-
got a. Does it
love
have
the riff.
a vague Prince vibe to it?
It does, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, the person who produced the track is Chris Royal. That's my boyfriend, and
Okay.
so yeah, he's definitely we both are heavily influenced by Prince.
Chris Royal and Dark Matter.
Yeah.
How is he doing? We haven't seen him for a while
He's
either.
so busy.
Yeah.
He's home at like 7 a.m. every morning right now, like just
Okay. So.
Jazz Fest vibes.
So
know?
your name is spelled CHRIS.
I'm CH,
and
yeah,
He's
he's
KHRIS.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's confusing.
Yeah. Well,
Well, not for you, I guess,
Not for
because you're
us,
separate
yeah.
people. Well, that's been a while. You've been a couple for quite a while now.
yeah, we've also known each other since we were kids. We went to Noka together, so.
Okay.
But yeah, we've been dating like 5 years. So
Yeah, that's a long time.
minute.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's working out.
Yeah.
I guess it's good if you're both musicians.
It's nice. Yeah, you kind of have to understand the lifestyle. It's not an easy lifestyle for someone who isn't a musician. To date them, I think it can be a little bit more complicated, but
Right.
it's a lot of
Talking of
understanding.
dating, what order are we doing things in? Mr. and Mrs. Frank Skurlock first
wow.
or Breakfast?
No, it's-
let me just break in on this Mr. and Mrs. Frank.
Yeah.
So Katrina's a badass. I don't know why they're not Mr. and Mrs. Katrina Breeze. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's a good point,
Yeah,
too.
That's a good point.
Aha, good point. Okay, so Leon, just to catch you up, and Chris,
Mm-hmm.
last week on our show, Graham books people on the show. You have no idea what's going through her mind, why she, I can't tell you. She could perhaps explain how she decides who's going to be on each show. Anyway,
Yeah.
we end up with these two people, Frank Skurlock, who is an ideas guy, who his family created the bouncy castle, like the
Oh,
inflatable
wow.
spacewalk
Those are
thing.
fun.
Yeah.
We should do the whole podcast in one of those.
We should. And he's a very eccentric guy who's made tons of money and just kind of does whatever he feels like. And he has a lot of good ideas. And one of the things he's doing is building a sort of Disneyland 2 in New Orleans East. And he's called Transformation Village. And it's going to be sort of like Jazz Fest all year.
Really?
Yeah.
Bouncy Castle Jazz Fest.
Bouncy
Bouncy
Castle.
Castle
I'm not sure
Jazz
that Bouncy
Fest.
Castles are going to be featured, but
It'd be hard to get your images.
it's an
with
awesome
that.
idea, though, that's going to be Jazz Fest. It's like, imagine if Disneyland closed for 300
It was supposed to be
days.
here, Disneyland.
Yeah. But imagine if if Disneyland closed and you could only go to it for 10 days a year.
Right.
Imagine if Jazz Fest, which is only 10 days a year, was on every day. A version of Jazz Fest. There's no reason
we
why
have
you
so
couldn't do
many
it.
festivals here already.
That's what he's
so-
doing. So Frank's building this thing, and so
Wow.
Katrina Breeze is an artist she's founded the Bearded Oysters marching
yeah.
troupe, and she makes paper mache like animals of the crew of Colossus at Mardi Gras. She's very eccentric. Her name is not really Katrina Breeze, of course.
She has several names.
Self-given
She has a lot of
names, yeah.
various
A lot of names.
personalities.
Fantastic caskets she does.
Fantastic casket. She's got a business that makes you do-it-yourself caskets to get buried in. They're both anyway, so they sat here right at this table, right where you are last week.
Yeah.
And so at some point in the conversation, we said, I said to Katrina, are you single? And she said, yes. And I said to Frank, are you single? And he said, yeah. So
Y'all set them up on a date?
Andrew and I said for a joke, well, this is going to work out great. Next thing I know, this is a week ago today. Next thing I know, I get an email from Frank saying, Katrina is amazing. We're leaving for Florida today. I'm like, I wonder if that's true or a joke. Then they sent us, and look on our Facebook page, our It's New Orleans Facebook page.
Stop.
They sent us a photo of the two of them with paint drawn in the sand.
What?
A heart.
Did they fall in
A
love?
heart that says happy hour. We don't.
That's
It says-
sexual.
And Katrina sent a message, said, "Thanks for hooking us up. I have a bunch of other friends who would like to come on happy hour."
Matchmaker, matchmaker,
And
make
so
me a
Graham
match.
DePonte is responsible. And now the last email I got from
Are
Frank
you
today,
against Possibly.
this could be a whole new.
Job.
This could be
My
a whole.
God.
Ah!
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
So now they're going to Nashville today
What?
to launch iHeartAmerica.com together.
What does that mean?
I couldn't tell you. And then they're going to the Kentucky Derby.
Wow.
So
You've got
Andrew,
skills.
that's all the three of us. Graham booked them, but
Good job.
really, Andrew, we have to take some credit.
Oh, I think, yeah.
Because you guys decided they'd go on a date?
Oh, yeah, we provided the catalyst to the
You
chemistry.
pushed
it.
We were
You
the
pushed it.
enzymes in the.
Oh.
If it works
Chemicals.
out, we
Chemicals.
did.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, we didn't
Then
have
you
anything
back
to
out
do
of
with
it.
it.
Then
we
it's her
just,
fault,
we
right?
just happened to be on the same show. So, Leon, are you single?
No.
No, you're married?
No. Yeah, kind of.
Kinda married.
Kinda
De
married.
facto, we call it.
De facto, that's called in Australia, is it?
Yeah.
I don't think we
Yeah,
call
we've
that
been
here.
together a long time, but not formally married. But,
Do you get to be...
no ceremony. Kids,
Okay.
but no
Oh,
ceremony.
you have kids and everything?
Yeah.
So what's the
Yeah,
hold up?
you're-
Why
you're
didn't you get
married.
married?
Yeah,
It's expensive.
It is.
I don't know. It gets in the way.
But he's a super successful photographer. I haven't even read any of this bio, Leon's bio. It's very impressive. He's an award-winning photojournalist. You want to know any more than that? Apart from that,
I'm not trying to marry. You don't have to tell me.
He's got a de facto wife. He worked in London from 82 to 94. He worked for The Guardian, The Independent, The Observer, Vanity Fair, The New Statesman. I didn't even know they had photos in The New Statesman. Architect's Journal, and Enemy, The New Music Express, The Wire, Melody Makers, and all these incredible magazines he shot for. It's pretty impressive. And on top of it, he had this going against him all the time. He's Australian. And he still overcame that obstacle.
Well, people kind of like it. People are pretty partial to Australians.
They're
we
always
come
nice.
on a lot.
Don't
Yeah.
come
Oh, and
on.
all
We
my
know
travels,
better.
They
I
are.
always
They
meet
are.
Australians everywhere
Do
because
you?
you guys are everywhere.
Yeah, we
and you're
tra-
always so jolly.
Well,
so nice.
they're mostly drunk.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're jolly, I guess.
It's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
So, did you move to England?
Yeah, I
For-
lived in London for 14 or 15 years.
14 or
So,
15 years.
Yeah,
Right. Can you say that? 14 or 15
14 to
years.
15 years, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, can you say that? 14 or
14.
14
14
or 15 years.
14.
It's so weird because I don't hear my accent until
Right.
you speak it back to me.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
It's
strangest thing.
sucks, isn't it? I know. And people ask you, I bet they ask you in London too, how long have you been here? Did they? Or London, they don't give a shit. They don't care about anything. If you're a foreigner. They
Not
don't
about
want to
the
know.
teeth,
If you're
nothing.
if you come from the
No, they
colonies.
just
they
all
don't-
made really naff jokes about
Right.
Paul Hogan. It was just so boring.
Paul Hogan?
Yeah, remember Crocodile Dundee?
Crocodile
That was
Dundee.
it.
They're
Just
still
went-
going on
it's
about
still-
that?
Oh, yeah, you know.
Oh
like
my
it's,
God.
Yeah, that's
you know,
it's old news, right?
That's a knife.
yeah. But yeah, it was a great. I mean, that's where I learned about music. It's a great music city as well.
Right. It is great
London,
music.
so it was-
Well, there's great music everywhere, probably.
yeah, but everybody sort of passes through London at some stage, and
Right.
and going back in the day, I grew up in Australia where you just didn't hear any great music. It was just rock and pop. So London was the sort of first step on the journey, and I ultimately, through New York, ended up in New Orleans because this was the crucible. So
Did
that
you
was
come
a-
here by accident the first time, or did you come here by
Not
design?
really. I kind of, it had been in the back of my mind, and I just thought. So it was the 25th anniversary of Jazz Fest, and I thought that was the hook line. I sold it to an Australian and English newspaper.
Got it
So-
paid for. Are you getting
yeah.
these paid for, these trips?
Well, now I work for an agency that supplies to Getty Images, so I get paid if my photographs sell, and it gets harder and harder.
Does it really? Why is
yeah,
that?
it's a hard industry.
Because you're losing your
Much-
eyesight? Or
Much
what's
more
that?
competitive, and
Really?
and we don't get paid nearly as much anymore.
Nobody
There's
gets
a whole-
paid. Isn't that interesting that everyone gets paid less now in the arts? Writers, photographers, musicians, everyone's getting
Yeah,
paid
you're supposed
less.
to do it because you love it, not because you.
Well,
want
you
to.
do love
But
it.
you also
blew
have
that.
to eat. That's the thing. You have to pay bills. We can
Yeah.
get away without
I know. We
paying
have the
bills.
same expenses everyone else does, except
Mm-hmm.
you're expected to get paid less. For some reason, I'm not really able to get my arms around that. Why has everyone's pay gone down in the arts?
Because it's free on the internet.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, everybody thinks it should be free. Art should be free.
I feel like it was happening before that too, though. I mean, I don't know the root of the reason, but I feel like it's been happening for a while.
It's in all the arts. So it's in the radio business. People get paid less on radio than they used to get paid, and everyone just goes along with it. And the same with the music business and in writing or in photography. You just expect it to take less money now from everybody. It seems to be like an agreement among everybody who employs artists that we're just not going to pay you guys as much. And it just keeps on going down and down. It really is interesting, and not in a good way, though. And so it's the same in photography, obviously.
Yeah, it's harder. I mean, you can still, there are niches in the market that you can do well, but I made a choice. I don't do photography full time anymore. I just do it, at a number of particular music festivals, and when particular artists want me to work with them. But,
what are you doing full time the rest of the time?
I work at a university now.
You teach?
I don't teach. No, I work in policy. Probably is the easiest way to describe it. Policy and administration.
Does anyone know what that means here?
No.
No? Andrew? No? Graham's an intellectual too. She should know that. Do you know that? Policy administration. Have a stab at it.
Sounds like you make policy.
Yeah. Well, I've got a title that you probably understand, but it operates in different. I'm called the chief of staff there. So
Chief of staff
yeah,
at a
That's official.
university.
it's really unusual.
Yes.
That's what. Yeah. So, but it's
Wow.
probably not what you think it is. It's
What
the
university
chief-
is it?
It's La Trobe University, and it's
That's a big deal name. I've heard of it.
It's the number 3 university in Melbourne, and it's a really interesting institution because it has a commitment to inclusion. It's always from when it started. It's
Very un-Australian.
No, quite Australian. Its rationale was to actually try and bring people who were socially disadvantaged or might be estranged from the higher education system into the system. So, I like working there. And we've got a course of... we're running a course where I think about 30 students are coming through New Orleans and Mississippi in the next few months to, check out the
awesome.
culture here. So, and start to
That's
build
good.
those kind of links. So it's an interesting place to work.
And do you
would
hire
think
people?
us.
Are you the chief of
not-
staff? Do you hire people?
No,
or
I don't.
What do you just...
No, the chief of staff works to what you'd call the president of the university. So it's looking after the reputation and the relationships that the university builds with different partners. So it's
Wow.
interesting time.
Do you have plans for this Sunday of Jazz Fest, for the second Sunday morning before the festival opens at 9? What time is breakfast?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Not yet. That's
Wait till you
normally
hear
I have.
about this.
Normally I sleep at 9 o'clock.
Well, I would understand that. You would need your sleep, but when you wake up, you'll need your coffee and your breakfast. And you can get both of those things at Bayou Beer Garden from 9 to 1 p.m., as well as some excellent music by Alexis Marceau and Aurora Nealon, and myself, Andrew Duhon, and the trio. Let's see what else. Oh, so there's a whole bunch of sponsors who are providing breakfast for this. So you can come on by, and where you're sitting, that's right, it's free to enter. Wake and Bacon, Wayfair, where we are, Katie's, Monkey, Mid-City Pizza, Pastiche Catering, and Bayou Beer Garden themselves are all donating food to make this breakfast possible. And
Isn't that great?
Sounds great.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So close to my house. I'm
Too
on
easy.
Toulouse and North Lopez. So
Sweet, yeah. It's
Okay.
a,
come by.
Well, you and Chris need to get up and come over.
Yeah.
come fuel
sure.
up, be part of this complete balanced breakfast.
So it's Bayou Beer Garden.
On Jeff
If you're listening to
Davis.
this after
Yeah.
Jazz Fest is all over, it'll be too late.
Yep.
But the second Sunday of Jazz Fest, and you can get there for free by downloading the Uber app and writing Happy Hour NOLA in the code.
Or you can
Coupon
get from there to Jazz Fest free.
code. You could go from there to Jazz Fest.
We
for
could all
free.
share an Uber. It'd be
Yeah,
sound-
Yeah.
that's right.
That's a good idea. Good point.
But morning music, what a great, there's a club in Cajun country, I can't remember the name of it, which,
Fred's.
it has Fred's,
Yeah.
that famous
Fred's
Saturday
Lounge
morning
in
session.
Ramu.
Yeah, and it's just a great thing to do, to
Yeah.
sort of walk in from a sunlight street and then move into a club.
Right,
So-
and that's it. And this Sunday it's 80% chance of rain currently, which I was a little bummed about. But then I thought about it. Bayou Beer Garden's got plenty of covered outdoor
True.
patio space, and Aurora Nealon, and there's even a jazz band at 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. with Aurora Nealon's trio is jazz from 9 to 11. I mean, drinking a Bloody Mary at 10 o'clock and listening to Aurora while the rain falls sounds perfect.
Sounds very
Sounds
romantic,
delicious,
doesn't
yeah.
it? Yeah, okay.
So, maybe it's rain, maybe it's shine, but we'll be out there either way.
So they're going to be there rain or shine. The weather forecast is pretty inaccurate usually.
Let's hope so.
No one predicted this today, did they? In fact, we got
No, look,
flooded,
it's
and now
sunny
it's
out,
gorgeous.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's sunny.
Welcome
Exactly.
to New Orleans.
Hey, Andrew, play us a song while you're sitting here.
All right, buddy.
What are you thinking?
I think I'll play you something new. I can see you and me settle down on a couple acres. A little family farm, a little piece of hallowed ground. And half of my mind's out picking them tomatoes. The rest of me just keeps rambling round. You weather in the storm of a love that's off and on. I'll love you, then I'm gone again. I'm stuck somewhere in the Midwest. South Dakota is my best guess. Somewhere between holding out and holding out my hands in no man's land. No man's land. Your heart is miles and miles of placid ocean. Mine is a rowboat that I drag through landlocked towns. And all of this time just spinning these wheels of mine make a good woman wonder how long she can wait around. Just weather in the storm of a love that's off and on. I'll love you, then I'm gone again. I'm stuck somewhere in the Midwest, another town just like the last. Somewhere between holding out and holding out my hands in no man's land. No man's land. No man's land. No man's land.
Yes.
Sounds so lovely.
Isn't that
Sean.
great? Andrew Duhon, No Man's Land, off the new album, I Hemorrhaged a Vocal Cord.
Yep, that's the one.
We're going to collaborate.
That is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay, that's a good one. That's going on. I bet that ends up on the record.
We'll see. You think that about a lot of them.
Yeah, I always say that. I love them all. I
Thanks,
guess you
buddy.
can't have, well, these days, because you could have a double album.
You can do
There's no
whatever you
such
want,
thing.
man.
I
Live
just
your
want to have
life.
I want to have an album.
Yeah.
And I think it was interesting about what Chris was talking about, this idea that, I think a lot of people in the people who believe in creating and believe in being creative, I think the world that we're living in, where it's so easy to see what other people are doing, can be really tough to consume and navigate, because your own personal creativity can seem slow and cumbersome and frustrating at times, and you can look online at any time and see the one person who's really got something going on. But if you have 1,000 people in your stream of, things happening, then somebody's always going to be doing something great. And you just need to keep in mind that, the things that are churning out that are great, they are great. And you can make something great too, but you need to take your time and you need to use your voice and decide what you have to say that is great, or what you want to do that you feel is you and is great for that reason, and not get pushed to do it too soon or to do it a certain way because you keep seeing things on the internet that are getting liked a lot or something.
It's an illusion.
Well, there's a great sense, though, that everybody is having a great life except me.
Right, that's
If
it.
you look at Facebook, everyone's all doing this and doing that and eating half an awesome hamburger.
Right.
And they're
Their
off
hamburger
in,
is
they're off in
looks so
China
delicious.
singing in a club, and everyone's having a great life. You don't know that, the
I think-
true story behind it. You're right.
That's like a window too into just like perception.
So I was just showing my book leads with a quote from Dr. John, which is, "Follow your heart or you're fucked."
Okay, on that note,
yeah.
we're getting
Sum
out
it all
of here.
up,
Follow
yeah.
your heart or you're
Or you're
fucked. That's
fucked.
awesome. That's going to be the title of today's show, except you do get kicked off
That's the
iTunes for
lesson.
putting the word fucked in the title. But
Damn it.
we'll have to figure something out about
Yeah.
that. Chris will figure that out,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Hey, thank you so much, Leon Morris. Great to see you here in New Orleans. I guess we'll see you back here next year for Jazz Fest.
Certainly will.
And Chris Bradford, we can't wait another bunch of years before you come back
Okay,
again.
cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's great. And our producer, Graham DuPont, is here, and Andrew
Yeah.
Duhon. I'm Grant Morris. Thank you so much for joining us. Our show is produced by Graham DuPont, and our associate producer and technical director is Chris Kehoe. Christian Unruh is our music director, and our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show, drop us a line. Our address is on our website. It's neworleans.com. We can also check out plenty of other hours of Happy Hour, along with some other shows we make here. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace. True to the Game with Chris True. Midnight Menu +1 with Margot Moss and the Man Who Ate New Orleans. Ray Canada. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker. Milo's Music Parlor with Kim Vu, and the podcast about death, simply called Death the Podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Alfant. That is definitely worth checking out if you haven't done that yet, by the way. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and be awesomely jealous about everything we're doing, and Twitter, and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. And all of it we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. These photos are taken by the fabulous Alison Moon. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher or some other podcast app, thank you for subscribing to us. We do appreciate that. Take a moment to stop and rate and review us. That helps other people find us as well. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street, where they have a radically new menu and a whole new happy hour from 3 to 6 every day, as well as an awesome brunch on the weekends. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting. For itsneworleans.com, for Andrew Duhon, you can see him at Breakfast on the second Sunday of Jazz Fest, or just at andrewduhon.com if you've missed that. I'm Grant Morris. Thank you so much on behalf of everybody around here at Wayfair and back at our office at INO Broadcasting for joining us. We'll see you back here next week on Happy Hour.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.